Hey guys, it's Mrs. Shefchek here. Today we're going to be looking at finding some missing lengths by writing and then solving an equation. So our learning target today is that we can write and solve an equation that represents a real-world situation. And here's how we're going to do that. So you guys are each going to have a copy of this worksheet here that you can put into Notability. We'll be doing numbers 1, 2, and 3 together in this video, and what I'm going to want you to make sure that you're doing as we're going is writing down the equation, showing how we solved it, making a sketch with me, and then putting our final solution here. So we'll do these 3 together, and then you'll have 3 to do at the end on your own. One suggestion that I have is you might find it helpful to just do this on paper and then take a picture and add it to the document if you don't like working with a split screen. However you decide to do it, just make sure that at the end you have numbers 1 through 6 completed, either on paper and then uploaded or right into Notability. So now's a good time, if you haven't already downloaded it, to pause the video, go back into Schoology, and download today's practice worksheet called Find the Missing Length Equations, and then open up a split screen with the video to start working on 1 through 3. Our first problem says, the perimeter of a rectangular garden is 66 feet. The length is 3 feet more than twice the width. We're asked to sketch a picture and then write and solve an algebraic equation to find the dimensions, or to find the length and the width of that garden. All right, so let's start with a sketch of what we know. And you guys have a spot for this over on the right-hand side of your page as well. So we've got a rectangular garden, and we know that we have a length and we know that we have a width. All right, and so I'm going to go back and reread to see what it is we know about those. It tells us the length is 3 feet more than twice the width. So it sounds like everything's based off of the width. And so what that means for me is I'm going to use W for my width, for my unknown. So I'm going to say, okay, if my width is W and my length is 3 feet more than twice that, I have to do 3 more than twice W. So that would look like this, 2 times W plus 3. Okay, and now I'm going to go up on my sketch here and just kind of write that in. This side would have to be W, this side would have to be W, because those are going to be the same length, because it's a rectangle. And then this side is 2W plus 3, and same thing up above, because it's a rectangle. We know those two sides are going to be equal to each other. Now I have to go ahead and write my equation to show that the distance around this whole rectangle, so our perimeter of this whole rectangle, is 66 feet. And I'm just going to kind of put that in my picture just so I kind of have all that information in my picture. Whoops, 66 feet. Okay, let's write our equation. So now I have 2 times W plus 3 plus W. Here, I'm going to kind of just put these in parentheses for right now so we can see the difference here. Plus 2W plus 3 plus W equals 66. Okay, can you see where that all came from? It's like we've got the length plus the width plus the length plus the width, and all together that totals 66. Once you have your equation written, the rest is like every equation we've solved so far. So we're just going to combine our like terms and then solve. So I have 2W plus W plus 2W plus W. And so that makes 6W plus, then here we have a plus 3 and a plus 3, that's plus 6. And all of that equals this 66 over here. And now to solve my equation for W, I need to subtract 6 from both sides. And that leaves me with 6W equals 60. And then our final step is divide by 6. And I get W equals 10. So we just figured out the width of our rectangle is 10. And so I'm just going to go down here. Here's my solution. My width is 10 feet. And now I'm going to go back and see the length is 3 feet more than twice the width, or 2w plus 3. So I have to do 2 times 10 plus 3 to get my length. And I'll see that my length is 23 feet. And then I could check that by just adding up 23 plus 10 plus 23 plus 10, and it should equal 66. All right, our second problem now involves a rope being cut. So this one says, Sam cut an 85-inch rope into 2 unequal pieces. The bigger piece is 15 inches longer than the short one. We are asked to sketch a picture and then write and solve an equation to find the lengths of the 2 pieces Sam cut. All right, let's start with our sketch here. So I'm just going to make a line to represent our rope. Okay, and we know that it was 85 inches to begin with, so I'm just going to kind of label that up top here. That's 85 inches, okay? Now, he cut it into 2 pieces, and one's bigger than the other one. We don't really know yet how those are related, but we're going to just say, okay, let's pretend we cut that rope into, maybe we'll call that like piece A and piece B, just so we have something to reference here. So it says the bigger piece is 15 inches longer than the short one. Well, it seems like it's based off of whatever our short one is. If we knew our short one, we could figure out our long one, right? So if I call our short side, or our short rope, X, then our long one is 15 inches longer than that. So this one would have to be X plus 15. Okay, see how that works there? We now have 2 pieces of rope. This one is X plus 15. And this one is just X. And if we put them together, it would add back up to 85. So let's write our equation to kind of show how we could solve for X. So the first piece is X, and the second piece is X plus 15. And together, they total 85 inches. So now we solve our equation. X plus X is 2X. 2X plus 15 equals 85. I'm going to take 15 off the left to help isolate my variable, but then I have to do it on the right as well. And I have 2x equals 70. And then final step here is divide both sides by 2 to get x equals 35. And so what that tells us is that this piece right here is 35 inches. And then this piece over here is 15 more than that. So I have to do 35 plus 15, whoopsies. And that equals 50 inches. Okay, so the 2 pieces of rope are 35 and 50 inches long. And again, I could check that by just making sure that when I add them together, I get 85, and I do, because that would be back to the same size I started with. All right, the final one we'll do together is problem number 3. Problem number 3 says, I drew a triangle on my paper. 2 sides are the same length, and the third side is 3 centimeters shorter. Sketch a picture. If the perimeter is 18 centimeters, write and solve an equation to find the lengths of all 3 of the sides. All right, well, this seems like a good one to start with a sketch for. We know we have a triangle with 2 sides of the same length. So we've got our isosceles triangle right there. We're going to say these 2 sides are equal to each other. All right, we don't know what those 2 sides are, but we know they're the same, and we know how the third side relates to that one. So let's call this side X. And this side would also have to be X. That would take care of our 2 sides of the same length. And then our third side is 3 centimeters shorter than that, so that would have to be X minus 3. And then we also know our perimeter here of this whole triangle is 18 centimeters. So I'm just going to go ahead and put P equals 18 centimeters in my picture. So I have a really nice sketch here that helps sum up all the information from the problem. Now let's go in and write our equation for it to figure out the length of X. So we know that if we take this side, X, plus this side, X, and add our third side, which is X minus 3, we will have our perimeter, which was 18 centimeters. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. X plus x plus x, that's 3x. And then I still have minus 3 equals 18. So to get the x's by themselves, I have to get rid of that minus 3, and I'm going to do that by adding 3 on both sides. And I now have 3x equals 21. And then final step here, divide both sides by 3 to isolate that variable, and we have x equals 7. So using this information, now we're going to go put that back into our picture and say, well, we know that these two sides are x, so that means those two sides are going to be 7. And then our third side has to be 7 minus 3, or 4 centimeters. So if we add that together, 4 plus 7, we should get 18, and we do. Oops, sorry, not 14. And then we can go ahead and write that in. The three sides are 4, 7, and 7 centimeters. Okay, so now it is your turn. Number 4 looks just like number 1. Number 5 looks just like number 2, and number 6 looks just like number 3. So please make sure you're using those as examples to help you as you're working on these. And also make sure you're doing each part of this, writing the equation, showing how you solved it, making a sketch for each one, and then writing in your answers as you go. And then once you finish it, make sure that you upload it to Schoology to turn in your submission. And I would highly recommend that you send me an email when you're done, and I will send you the answer key so you can check and see how you did. And as always, if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Just send me an email or join me for a Google Meet, and I will be happy to go through these with you. Thanks so much for watching, and have an awesome day. Bye.